Hey there, Regina Andler here, and it is time for the AI Spotlight. This week, we are talking about using AI to figure out what needs to change in your business because, you know, it's all about reinvention this week. So if you're feeling that your business has stalled, you're feeling that you're not getting the clients you used to before, you're not getting the engagement you used to before, it may have been that something shifted. It may have been something changed. It has nothing to do with you, your knowledge, your business, really. It might have to do with something completely external to you. And that's just something you need to keep on top of because reinvention doesn't mean starting over. If you were with us on Tuesday on Tips and Tricks Tuesday, we talked about those 3 signs of maybe it's time to do some reinvention. And reinvention doesn't necessarily mean scrap everything that you've done and start over again. It could mean that maybe you just need to change things up. Maybe you do the same weekly marketing strategy week in, week out, week in, week out, which is good. You want that consistency, right? But maybe it's kind of stalled. Follow me on this one here for a minute. If you've ever tried to lose weight, did you ever try to lose weight and you're doing good? You're eating right, you're exercising, you're doing stuff, and then all of a sudden you plateau. And for the life of you, you cannot figure out. You're like, I'm still doing the same things. I'm still doing what I was doing before. I was losing 2 pounds a week, and all of a sudden it just stopped, and I can't get it to start again. It's because your metabolism stalled, right? Well, maybe your business is stalled, not because of anything that you're doing, just because you need to mix it up a little bit and you need to change something. So that's what reinvention is all about. It's not about scrapping everything and starting over. So today on the AI Spotlight, we're going to talk about how to use AI to help you do that and come up with, well, what is it that I need to reinvent? What is it that I need to change up in my business? What are some ideas for changing up my business? I'm going to use Claude for this. And I have Claude open over here. I'm going to make sure we are incognito because Claude knows all my stuff. And so he's going to answer based on what he knows about me. And I don't want him to do that. So we're going to start with what most people do. When most people go into trying to figure out what they want to do, they put prompts like this in. And I have some prompts made up here. My business isn't working. What should I do? Okay, that might be valid. And if you're using a model like ChatGPT or Claude and they know you, you'll get some feedback because if they know you, they're keeping that memory, they're keeping that history. They know what you've been working on. They know what you've been doing. So if you ask this to a model that has memory and is trained on who you are, you may get some good feedback just by asking this. But if you don't, if you're maybe new to AI, if your stuff that you've been doing in AI maybe it's all over the place, so it doesn't know. You might want to ask something like this, and it's going to come up and it's going to say something like this. It's triangulating right now. And I'm using Sonnet, so it should be pretty quick. All right, so here's the thing. AI is getting pretty smart these days. So instead of giving you some kind of a bogus generic answer, it might start asking you questions. Now, when you're thinking about reinvention, here are some great questions. I'm not getting enough customers. Customers come, but they don't return. I'm running out of money. I'm burned out and unsure what's next. Now, you can take this for what it is and start running with this because, Claude will ask you questions. This is one of the things I love about Claude, by the way. It will start prompting you and say, okay, well, what do you got? Okay, I've got a service-based business. How long has it been running? 5+ years. Okay, so what's the biggest problem? Now, great. It still doesn't know anything about my business. I haven't told it anything about my business yet, right? And I'm in incognito, so it doesn't know. What's the biggest problem right now? I'm burned out or unsure what to do. What kind of business is it? Service-based. How long has it been running? 5+ years. Okay, so now it's going to give me some information, but hey, it's still pretty generic, right? All right, so let's pop out of that one for a sec. And we're going to pop into a new incognito window again. because now I'm going to use this prompt, which I will give you. And it says, hey, I'm a business strategist. You're going to put who you are, who helps second act entrepreneurial women, and your topic, build and scale coaching or consulting businesses. Still didn't spell entrepreneurial right. All right. Now, lately I've noticed that, and describe what's feeling off. If you did the exercise on Tuesday, if you saw Tips and Tricks Tuesday, and those 3 signs, and you identified something, that's what goes here, right? So describe what's feeling off. And I'm going to actually use part of what's in the description here. Lately, I've noticed that my content isn't getting engagements. My offers aren't. I'm going to say my content isn't getting engagement, and we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to give it too many things. So I'm going to give it one thing. Give it one thing to work with at a time. There was 3 different examples there, so I'm just going to give it one. I've been in business for, I don't know, we'll just say 5 years. Can you help me think through what might be causing this? So now there's a little bit more context here. And so we want to look at that. And let's see what Claude comes up with. So happy to help you dig into this. Now, since I told it was with engagement, I'm going to say we're posting it on LinkedIn. What kind of content? And we're going to say tips and how-tos. Has anything shifted or changed in my offer, niche, or posting frequency? I'm going to say not that I can think of. And let's see what it comes up with. You're going to see I'm going to get a little bit better information here that's going to guide me, if this was a real example, on things that might be going on. And I don't know if you just noticed what was going on there, but Claude actually went out and diagnosed the LinkedIn algorithm to see if it's not a problem with the content, but maybe the algorithm's doing something. That is super cool, right? So look, it's probably not you. LinkedIn has gone through some pretty massive shifts this year. What changed on LinkedIn is cracking down on generic content. So see, it might not be you. It might not be the content. It might be the platform, right? So this is actually now really helpful information. And it shows, here's what I look at changing. Trade generic tips for specific proof. Have an actual point of view. Switch up your format. Show up in the comments, not just the post. Audit your last 10 to 15 posts and see what's going on with them. So each one of these, and now if you want to dig into them. So now I'm going to actually add another post. It already gave me the information, but I'm going to say, what are the top 3 things? So I'm going to put this in here, even though it actually kind of sort of already answered this question. Based on what I shared, what are the top 3 things you suggest I look at first? For each one, give me a small action I can take. And it may say, like I just told you, Claude does that. Based on what you shared, I'd swap generic contents. This is the biggest one, tips. So now it gave better information just using that extra context in that second post. So these are really super things. And these action steps right here, this week, take one tip you normally post, rewrite it as a real story instead. A specific client situation, real result, mistake you watch somebody make, same lesson, but way more proof behind it. You see how that changes things up? I told it was all about content. So when it comes to that reinvention is just, it's not always about how you are changing up things in your business, maybe, a new offer or something like that, you don't necessarily need a new offer. You don't need to shift everything. You just need to do something different. Reinvention is about doing something different. So if you're having any kind of issues with your business, saying, I'm not getting as many sales, I'm not getting as much engagement, I'm not getting as much response to my products and services, maybe you just need to reinvent how you're doing what you do and change it up a bit so that you can build momentum again. And again, absolutely loved, I'm going to put Claude back up here again. I really loved that the first thing that it did was, because I told it was LinkedIn on this one. And I said it was engagement. The first thing it did, it basically said, it's not you, it's them. So it actually qualified that, hey, there's nothing wrong with your content necessarily. It could be that the platform shifted. Now, if you're not paying attention to all these platform shifts and your biggest problem is engagement, the reinvention isn't about you going out and creating something new as far as a program or changing up what you're saying. It's rather how you're saying what you're saying that you're changing up so that now you get a better result because now the algorithm is working with you. So I'm going to put these prompts, the couple of prompts here into the chat. And good morning, Frank. Thanks for joining me. And I'm going to set it up here so that you can try this yourself. I actually really love Claude for this because even Claude Incognito, if you give it the right context in that first prompt, it will tell you, hey, here's where you're going, here's where you might want to look at a change. So reinvention, think of reinvention not as a complete big thing that you're doing, but pieces of things. So maybe it's marketing. Maybe there's something in marketing. Maybe there's something in your offer. Maybe you have an offer that is great and you need to change up the offer a little bit. Maybe it's not changing up the offer. Maybe it's changing up how you're advertising the offer and how you're putting it in front of people. There's all kinds of different ways to reinvent, and that's what this week is all about. So try these out and see if you get better engagement, more clients, more eyeballs on your product or service simply by reinventing how you're doing what you already do out there. Not about changing up, it's about reinventing, changing up what you're doing so that you end up getting off of that plateau, on that stalled metabolism of your business, and you start building momentum again. So that's what I've got for you this week. We'll see you next time on the AI Spotlight. Bye for now.